Shalom, my brothers and sisters from the four corners of the world. Today we're going to see if we can draw a connection between the tribe of Dan, Donald Trump, and the Antichrist. We're going to see if we can find some connections between these. And I'd like to first start off by reading an article that I found online, and this is from britain.org /Dan.html, but it says the tribe of Dan. And I'm just going to kind of read down through here and pronounce these words the best I can. The first thing I'd like to point out is Dan and Don. Y'all showed me a couple years ago that the vowels in the English language are wild and consonants are constant. So we see this word Dan could also say Don, like in Abaddon, Abaddon. But we'll go down through here and kind of skim through this document. Dan with Gad and Naphtali. Groups derived from Dan were historically somehow linked with the Gothic forces. And we all know what Gothic is. It's darkness. That descended mainly from Gad. Notice this word could mean God too. Gad. Danites were also found together with Naphtalites of Naphtali. Dan amongst the Celts, Dan in Wales, Ireland, and Scotland. Pay close attention to Scotland, as we know Trump's ancestry leads back to Scotland. He's all the time talking about his Scottish heritage. In biblical times, the tribe of Dan had been divided into 3 or more different sections. One section had been in the northern Galilee, and you can see there in Joshua, and neighbored Gad. Later part of this section moved with other Israelites to Scythia. The damnee, notice this word damn, like in damned, you're damned. And were also called Dingling and were linked to the Dangaliah, whose names mean Dan of Gilead. They had been neighbors of the Goths from Gad and Gostria, ancient Iran. Notice Iran. The damned of, we're just going to kind of skim down through. There's some similar to the Damoni of Scotland. Dam, who lived beside northern river Don. See how the vowels are wild? Don, as in Donald, of Scotland. And the Damonis of Danonia, which has the name given to Devon. Think about Devon of Cornwall. I'm going to just kind of skim down through. There's some things. The tribe of Dan was recalled in the children of Don. Think about Donald. According to Irish tradition, from the land of Israel via Greece and Scandinavia. Just going to kind of skim down through here. In Scotland, the Damoni of Dan joined the Gadini, probably of Gad, somewhat of the south in northern England, according to Ptolemy, was the city of Danum, which area was later to be occupied by the Danes from Denmark. Think about Denmark. We know vowels are wild, so Denmark, like mark of the beast. In this case, we see the possibility of a group of Celtic culture descended from Dan, who gave their name to the city of Danum. Notice they keep their name in everything that they do. Being followed by the Scandinavians, who were also descended from Dan and settled in the same area. We have come across similar phenomena several times in this study. Now, I've told you in previous videos that Donald descends to the Vikings. Danes from Dan were recorded together in Natali and Scythia. From Scythia, the Danes moved via Sweden, conquered Denmark. The Danes and the Norwegians formed the Vikings, who invaded England. The Danes settled in northeast of England and the Norwegians in the northwest. They also conquered and settled in Ireland and parts of Scotland, where Trump's from. But read on down through here. The tribe of Dan was represented by a snake or a lion. The snake is the Antichrist, and the lion is him pretending like he's the lion from the tribe of Judah, which really he's the lion from the tribe of Dan, or the Antichrist from the tribe of Dan. Other accepted symbols of Dan were a pair of scales. They're judges. They're going to be the ones that bring judgment on the lawless ones at the end of time. And I'll show you more about that in a few minutes. An eagle, think about the American eagle and the dragon. Many members of Dan settled in Denmark, in Ireland, in Wales, England, and the USA, where 40 to 50 million people have Irish ancestry. The symbol of a snake was once worshipped in Ireland. A lion represents Denmark and England. Wales was a dragon on its flag, and the USA has the eagle. Okay? These are your rulers, your presidents. They were all from the tribe of Dan. They all root back from the tribe of Dan, I think. You can probably do your own study, but I'm betting that if you study because they kept power, they kept rulership so that when the Antichrist arrived, they could put him in power. But we'll go down through and see if Dan and Iceland. The coat of arms of Iceland includes a dragon, which is one of the symbols of Dan. A vulture, which in Hebrew is given the same name as an eagle. Think about that. The eagle that you have as a representing the United States is really a vulture. Remember Samson in the Bible, he was from the tribe of Dan. Peoples of Dan. See all the D's here? See, they kept that D. D-A-N, D-A-N, D-O-N of Wales, D-O. The N and the D is what they were holding on to. See, claiming to be King David's what they're doing. King David of Judah and Israel. He's going to act like he's the line from Judah, but he's really the Antichrist. you can pause this video and read more about this, but I want to just kind of, there's some information in here that I wanted to share with you. Thus Dan and Judah were neighbors in North and South Israel. In Jewish tradition, Judah and Dan are often juxtapositioned. Samson, the Superman hero from the tribe of Dan, but his mother was from Judah. Samson, in some respects, is considered a forerunner of the Messiah who would come from Judah, but his mother, according to Midrash, will be from the tribe of Dan. A line represented both Judah and Dan, though Dan has additional symbols such as the snake and the dragon. So they're trying to copy the line, but they also have the snake and the dragon that you can identify them by. Just kind of reading down through here. You're going to realize that the Jesuits, the Vikings, they were pirates, and they have taken over America and gave you the illusion of choice between Democratic and Republican. As long as you choose one of those sides, you chose one of their teams. They own both teams, so you just pick which one you wanted to rule over you, but really it didn't matter because Satan owned both of them. Just kind of reading that there. There's yeah, if you want to read any more in this video, you can. A lot of good information in here, give you a little history on who they were. But this is an article in Wikipedia, but we'll see here the tribe of Dan. The tribe of Dan, Hebrew meaning judge. Now we'll kind of see why. I'll pull up a folder here that I've got. This video is not going to be very professional, but hopefully it'll give you a lot of good information. This is why somebody has made this card right here. It's a tarot card. He's the judge. He's the judge over, Yah has allowed him to be judge over the entire world. He's going to be the one that brings hell to you, or pain. You're going to have to pay for your lawlessness, and this man here is going to be the one to give it to you. But we'll see here the meaning judge. The tribe of Dan means judge. Was one of the tribes of Israel according to the Torah. They were allocated a coastal portion of land when the people of Israel entered the Promised Land, later moving northwards. In the biblical census of the book of Numbers, the tribe of Dan is portrayed as the second largest Israelite tribe after Judah. Some textual scholars regard the census as being from the priestly source, dating it around the 7th century BC, and more likely to reflect the bias of its authors. In the blessing of Moses, which some textual scholars regarded as dating from only slightly earlier than the Deuteronomist, Dan is prophesied to leap from Bashan. Now remember this word Bashan, or where this is, because I'm going to show you something about that. Scholars are uncertain why this should be, since the tribe did not live in the Bashan plain east of the Jordan River. Now I want you to remember that word Bashan, because I'm going to show you a connection. According to biblical narrative, the following completion of the conquest of Canaan, think about Cain, by the Israelite tribes after 1200 BCE. Joshua allocated the land among the 12 tribes. Dan was the last tribe to receive its territorial inheritance. Last. Yah does not think too much about the tribe of Dan, and you're going to see that as we go through. Think about Judas. The land originally allocated to Dan was a small enclave in the central coastal area of Canaan between Judah, Benjamin, Ephraim, and the Philistines. See the snake symbol here? To the north of the territory, Dan abutted Joppa, the modern Japhia. This territory, not very extensive originally, was soon diminished by its dangerous neighbors, the Philistines. The tribe was only able to camp in the hill country overlooking Sorek Valley, the camp location becoming known as Menonite Dan, Camps of Dan. The region they were trying to settle extended south into Shephelah in the area of Timnah. As a result, the modern state of Israel refers to the region of Gush Dan, the Dan area. From after the conquest of the land by Joshua until the formation of the first United Kingdom of Israel in 1050 BC, the tribe of Dan was part of a loose confederation of Israelite tribes. No central government existed, and in times of crisis, the people were led by ad hoc leaders known as judges. Now you know where we get our Supreme Court judges. They were just known as judges. They ruled the land. That's why Trump is so adamant about his Supreme Court judges, because as long as his judges do as he tells them to, then he still rules the land. The most celebrated Danite was Samson, a Danite judge from the period of the settlement in the lands allotted by Joshua. Phinehas Galpaza Ferrer sees similarities between the story of Samson and Damien tribal legends. As a consequence of the pressure from the Philistines, a portion of the tribe abandoned hopes of settling near the central coast, instead migrating to the north of Philistine territory, and after conquering Laish, refounded it as the city of Dan. And you can read there in Judges 18. Thus, their territory in the end lay northeast of that of Naphtali, east of Upper Jordan River near its eastern sources, and defining the northern extent of the land of the Israelites. A number of biblical texts thus refer to all Israel from Dan of Beersheba. With the growth of the threat from Philistine incursions, the Israelite tribes decided to form a strong centralized monarchy to meet the challenge, and the tribe of Dan joined the new kingdom with Saul. Think about Saul as the first king. After Saul and Paul. After the death of Saul, all the tribes other than Judah remained loyal to the house of Saul. But after the death of Ishbosheth, however you pronounce that, Saul's son and the successor to the throne of Israel, the tribe of Dan joined the other northern Israelite tribes in making David, whom was then the king of Judah, king of a reunited kingdom of Israel. The tribe provided substantial military support for the kingdom in the form of 28,600 soldiers, being considered experts in war. The tribe of Dan are experts in war. So Trump is an expert in war. Keep that in mind. He's bringing the world into into war. we'll skim on down through. Claims of a descendant from Dan. Simon Magus. Remember I told you this word means witchcraft. Yep, see right here, Simon Magus. Trump is a magician. I showed that in my last video. Simon Magus, also known as Simon the Sorcerer or Simon the Magician, was a religious figure whose confrontation with Peter is recorded in Acts 8:9-24. The act of simony, or paying for position and influence in the church, is named after Simon. Also is known as Simon the Magician, came from the village of Geta, also spelled Geta. See here, the vowels are wild. Here it's spelled Gitta. Here it's spelled Getta. Vowels are wild. In Samaria, according to Justin Martyr, a site settled by the tribe of Dan, according to Josephus. Justin, who was himself a 2nd century native of Samaria, wrote that nearly all Samaritans in his time were adherents of Simon, serving Orthodox texts such as those of Irenaeus. Justin Martyr, and however you spell these, regarded Simon as the source of all heresies, including Gnosticism. Ethiopian Jews, also known as Beta Israel, claim descent from the tribe of Dan, whose members migrate south along the members of the tribes of Gad, Asher, Naphtali into the kingdom of Cush, now Ethiopia, Sudan, during the destruction of the first temple. The position is supported by former Sephardic chief Rabbi Obadiah Joseph. They are said to have fought with the natives. Think about the Vikings coming over here and taking over America and killing all the natives. Charles Upton relates the serpent voodoo god Dan, see Dan there, as derived in part of the heterodox form of the Ethiopian Judaism. Characteristics. Their primary trade characteristic was seafaring. They were pirates. Unusual for the Israelite tribes. In the son of Deborah, the tribe is said to have stayed on their ships with their belongings. Their stolen treasures is what they're telling you. Iconography. Modern artists use the scales of justice. They're the one you're going to, if you're lawless, this is going to be, they are going to be your gods, because they're going to rule over you. They're going to bring pain onto you. But you see the scales of justice right here. To represent the tribe of Dan due to Genesis 49:16. Referencing Dan, shall achieve justice for his kindred. See, you're going to be, if you're lawless, if you think you don't have to obey Yah's Torah, you are their kindred, because they're going to be given. You're going to be given over to the tribe of Dan so that they can punish you. More traditional artists use a snake to represent Dan based on Genesis 49:17. Quote, let Dan be a serpent by the roadside, a horned viper by the path, that bites the horse's heel so that the rider tumbles backwards. Dan, the tribe of Dan, y'all used the tribe of Dan to see if you could be talked into being lawlessness. Could you be tricked into being lawlessness? Y'all wanted to test you and see if it was possible to get you to say, yeah, this lawlessness is the way to go. But they were used to trick you, and they're going to be used to judge you if you don't obey the Torah. And you can see here the scales of justice emblem of the tribe of Dan. They are your current judges, and they're going to be your future judges. Y'all don't want to get his hands dirty with judging you, so he's just going to let the tribe of Dan bring pain upon you, bring Armageddon on you, bring hell upon you, bring tribulation upon you. And we see here in the book of Revelation, Revelation 7:4-8 mentions that people from the 12 tribes of Israel will be sealed. The selection of the 12 tribes does not include the names Ephraim and Dan. These two tribes are not mentioned in the 12 tribes that are going to have people sealed from. So if you're from one of these two tribes here, beware. Although their names were used for the 12 tribes that settled in the Promised Land, it has been suggested that this could be because of their pagan practices. Christmas, Easter, Halloween, Valentine's Day, all of these are pagan practices. That's what the tribes of Dan are known for, is their pagan practices. That's how you know who rules over your country, is by what holidays and Sabbath days you keep. If you're keeping Christmas, Easter, and Halloween, and Valentine's Day, Columbus Day, all these days, these are all pagan. You know who your leaders are. This led Irenaeus, Hippolytus of Rome, and some of the millennialists to propose that the Antichrist, pay close attention, the Antichrist will come from the tribe of Dan. So we know that the Antichrist comes from the tribe of Dan. We know they're judges. We know that they practice pagan holidays. We know Trump has a Scottish background. And I think we're going to put a few more connections. Now, I want to, I don't know how many of you guys growing up remember the movie The Omen. The Omen was a movie about a little boy growing up that becomes the Antichrist. Now, we're going to see if we can draw some connections between this movie and Donald Trump. What's going to be really hard for a lot of you guys to comprehend is they have been waiting on Donald Trump for hundreds of years. They've been waiting on their leader to arise. So even in old movies, and I've seen a movie in the 1920s that was about Donald Trump. They knew that was before he was even born. They've been waiting on him to arrive. But this is, we'll take a look here. Here's some images from the movie Damien, and the movie was called The Omen. But we see here this little boy that grows up to be the Antichrist. He has 666 in his head, and he grows up. And this is, I think, maybe one of the last movies here. But this is called The Final Conflict. And you see the United States seal here behind his head. And if you notice, this is an eclipse. And you see the 666 here. And it says, the power of evil is no longer in the hands of a child. Trump's grown up to become president now. But you can see these images down through here. And I'll maybe show you a little bit later. But the O in the word omen is really, Yah says he uses the sun, moon, and stars for signs. Well, an omen is just a sign. It's a harbinger. It's a pre-warning of something to come. So the O in the word omen is a lunar eclipse, as Trump was born on a lunar eclipse. So it was a pre-warning when this guy was born that he was going to be raised up to be the Antichrist. He fits all the criteria of the Antichrist. And you can just see some different images down through here. But I remember being a kid, this movie scared me to death. Now notice this little boy, as he grew up in a military school. And I'll show you here. Let's take a look at some images here. This is my Trump folder. I've been studying Trump for years. In fact, I think y'all actually purposed maybe me to expose who this guy was, to pre-warn you of what's coming. But I've showed many of these images in previous videos, so I'm just going to... But this is Trump at his military school right here, and guess who is out front and center? Trump is known as the tip of the spear. He's the tip of the arrowhead. This is symbolic to an arrowhead or an arrow pointing to the pit. It's also the Hebrew vav pointing down. And you can see here in this image, it says through these portals. And I can continue this out to say the Antichrist was born. They just left that out so that you wouldn't know. But through these portals, the Antichrist was born. And there he is. But we'll go on down through. I explained a lot of these in previous videos. Trump has German heritage, just like Hitler. Don't think this man is not capable of killing billions of people. He has it. It's in his blood. He's from the tribe of Dan. I don't know if I showed this picture in one of the videos, but this was an image that they took of Trump. I want you to look close. They're showing you something. Can you see what they're showing you? If you look back in the hieroglyphs and things, you'll see that Osiris has this symbol on his head, but it's the moon right here in between these horns right here. But Trump is showing you who he is right there. He's the return of Osiris, Nimrod. But we'll scroll on down through here. See if I've got anything else that draws a direct connection. This I've showed this in other videos, but it does go with this one. This is a picture in the bank, the biggest bank in America. This is Bank of America, and this mural is in that bank. And you can see here Trump as a little boy. This is Damien. This is Damien. They gave him black hair in the movie so that you didn't, so you wouldn't recognize him. But this is Damien Thorn right here, aka Donald Trump. See the burning bush? This is Lucifer falling, and up here is the lunar eclipse. Trump was born on 6/14/1946, and on that day there was a lunar eclipse. You can see the Freemason checkerboarded floor here. You can actually cut this red part out, flip it over and mirror it on this side, and you can see the rising phoenix coming out of his head. Scroll on down through here. If you want to know more about these other images, you can look at my previous videos. They'll explain a lot of these previous. Trump is he's a Freemason, but he's at the top. They have made him he's their leader. He is the top of the pyramid, except for Yah oversees him, and he's only allowed to do what Yah allows him to do. But Yah is going to allow him to rule over the lawless people. Once we're taken to the people that obey the Torah will be taken to the great escape. And while we're over where Yah's taking care of us for 3.5 years, he is going to be over you. He's going to tell you who he is. You're finally going to learn the truth about who this man is, because he's going to tell you, because he's proud of it. He's proud of it. There is another image here that I just created, and actually it's going to be the cover of this video right here, if I can find it here. Oh, right here. Now I want you to take a close look at this, since we're talking about the movie The Omen, and the Antichrist in that movie was Damien Thorn. Notice the initials is DT, just like Donald Trump. Notice that there's 6 letters in the word Damien. Notice that there's 6 letters in the word Donald. Notice that Thorn has 5 letters. Notice that Trump has 5 letters. So you see the connection here. They're giving you clues to who Damien Thorn is. And again, you see the United States seal here. Trump was born on 6/14/1946. I've showed and he was born on a lunar eclipse. Also, in decoding the English language, you can use common denominators. So we see in his birthday 6/14/1946. Well, the 1 and the 4, and then you've got 1 and 4 in 1946, they will cancel each other out, which leaves you a 6, a 9, and a 6. Now, I know that the Illuminati turn things upside down and backwards. In fact, they use the terminology as above, so below. So you can take this 9, flip it upside down, and you're left with 666 in his birthday. But Trump is 74 years old this year. I've showed you in previous videos that the 9 is the key that unlocks the number of the beast. So you can take the 9, Trump is 74 years old, and if you multiply by 9, you get 666. So these are all signs or symbols or truths that tell you who they are. Now, when I say that Trump was born on a lunar eclipse is also known as a blood moon. It's also known as a blood moon, and a blood moon is simply an omen or a harbinger or a biblical sign. Something that y'all showed me just a little while ago that I haven't been able to update this image yet, but you can take 6 plus 5 and you get 11. This is symbolic to the Twin Towers that was destroyed on 9/11. The 6, you flip it upside down, and now you have 9/11. That's when the pit was really opened up, and the Antichrist spirit entered Donald. I think that's what I think. I think that Donald actually, the Antichrist spirit actually entered him, or Satan's spirit actually entered him. Something significant happened on that day. Donald Trump sit and watched the Twin Towers burn. In fact, I showed you in other videos, but the Serta commercial, he shows you 9/11, and it's on top of, it's beside of sheep. So he's showing you really he was responsible for the destruction of the Twin Towers. two become one is what that's symbolic of. 6 is the number of a man, so if, instead of saying 9/11, if you say 6/11, you put the 6 in between the two towers, it's really showing the destruction of man. But I think we'll leave that here with the folder there. But if you haven't, I don't know if I'd encourage you to watch these movies. They are pretty horrific. You can see here Trump, and this character right here looks a lot like Trump's dad. When you look at old pictures of Trump's dad, I think this could be symbolic to Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel. But this movie scared the crap out of me when I was growing up. This tells a little bit about the movie The Omen, but it's The Omen is a 1976 American-British supernatural horror film directed by Richard Donn. And David, you kind of see it plots Damien Thorn, a young child replaced at birth by an American ambassador, unbeknownst to his wife after the biological child dies shortly after birth. I've often wondered, I know that Trump is Aleister Crowley's moonchild, so I have wondered if Trump was given to the parents that he had for them to raise, so that nobody would know that he was the Antichrist. I'm not sure if Donald Trump's mother and father was his real mother and father. I think it's possible that, in fact, Aleister Crowley could be the one that donated the seed to him. But Damien enters childhood. They come to learn he is, in fact, the prophesied Antichrist. The Omen received mixed reviews from critics and was a commercial success, grossing over $6 million at the U.S. box office and becoming one of the highest grossing films of 1976. The film earned 2 Oscar nominations and 1 for a Best Original Jerry Goldsmith, but the 100 Scariest Movie Moments. The film spawned a franchise starting with Damien, Omen 2, and released 2 years later, followed by a third installment, Omen 3, The Final Conflict, in 1981 and in 1991. Notice 9/1 here, 9/1 there. Think about 9/11. Now you can notice here that the release date was June 6, 1976 in the UK and June 25th, 1976 in the United States. Notice this is right before his birthday and right after his birthday. In fact, you could probably count these days and his birthday would be probably exactly right in the middle of the release date. We'll kind of skim down through here. Kind of skimming. Again, you guys you could stop this film, or actually you can actually Google these, but Father Brennan, a Catholic priest, warns Robert about Damien's mysterious origins and hinting he is not human. He later tells Robert that Catherine is pregnant and Damien will prevent the child's birth. Afterward, Brennan is fatally impaled by a lightning rod thrown from a church roof during a sudden storm. You can go on down through here, but I'll see if there's any other connections we could make. Robert and Keith travel to Israel to meet Carl Bungenhagen. You could probably take a lot of these words and names in this movie and run them through gematria and see a lot more connections. The elite love using gematria. I think it's so that they can actually pull it up and get meanings out of it. A short time later, the double funeral of Catherine and Robert is attended by the President of the United States. Damien, observing the funeral procession, calmly smiles. The film then concludes with Revelation 13:18. We'll go back and just see what it is. The 13th chapter of the book of Apocalypse of John in the New Testament, the Christian Bible. The book is traditionally attributed to John the Apostle, but the precise identity of the author remains a point of academic debate. But interesting stuff there. Now let's see. I found this article online, but it talks about Donald Trump parallels to the Damien Thorn of the OMEN movies. Is Donald Trump the Antichrist? Let's make this a little smaller. But I thought this was very interesting here. Is Donald Trump the Antichrist? What do the Bible and the prophets say? There are many striking and disturbing parallels between Donald Trump and Damien Thorn of the OMEN movies. The DT initials, both with 6 letters in the first name and 5 in the last. The names Damien and Donald both mean one who rules, dominates, or subdues. Both were liars, speaking with great things and blasphemies. Both mocked Jesus. For instance, Trump denied the need to ask God for forgiveness and denigrated the body and blood of Christ as his little cracker and little wine. Both attended military academies. Both become famously rich via inheritances. Trump inherited $413 million per the New York Times. Both turned their inheritance into vast multinational business enterprises and bought real estate over all the globe. Both had older brothers who died, allowing the younger sons to take over the family businesses. Damien Thorn takes over Thorn Industries in 1971. Donald Trump takes over Trump Organization in 1971. Both were depraved, groping women's genitals. Both as adults would thrive on to misfortune of others. Both rose to political power by lying and deceiving the masses. You'll learn that I've showed my other videos. This is actually witchcraft that's been done on the masses. Both rallied legions of mesmerizing followers. Both ignored conflicts of interest once in power, operating construction companies while in the White House. So they're running businesses while they were in the White House. Both lacked human compassion, even for babies. Both were Antichrist, being the exact opposite of I hate using this word, but you see it there. In every possible way, both as president supported comb-overs to hide something, and of course their connections to the number 666. More parallels between Damien Thorn and Donald Trump. Damien Thorn was born of a jackal, while Donald Trump acts like and has the coloration of an orange jackal. So, you ever notice Donald Trump's skin sometimes looks really orange? Damien sounds like demon, while Donald Trump sounds and acts like a demon in the movie Omen 2. Damien's birthday is revealed as 666, June 6, 1966. And I told you we took the 14s out of Donald Trump's name, and they're both born in the month of June. And this is the exact date of the death of Donald Trump's grandmother. So Donald Trump's grandmother died, I remember that now, it is true. Elizabeth Christ Trump. It just blows my mind that Christians cannot see, can't see this. They will deny it till the end. Trump is their savior. He's the one that's going to save their bank account and pull them out of this plague. He's their savior. Elizabeth means vow, and thus her name literally means vow for Christ to be trumped. It was Elizabeth Christ Trump who incorporated the Trump family business that Donald Trump took over and ran after her death. Thus, Donald Trump was born as the heir of the Trump family business on the same day that Damien Thorn was born. Is Donald J. Trump the beast of Revelation? Why does the number 666 keep turning up over and over again where Trump and his family are concerned? As documented extensively on this page, when the Hebrew prophets spoke of a little horn and the trump of doom, were they speaking literally? A trump is a little horn. Daniel 7:8. Notice Daniel. Notice Dan right here. If I can get it to highlight. Dan. And then El in Hebrew, it means God. So this right here says, I, Dan, God. That's how this word here decodes. 7:8 warns us about a little horn that speaks boastfully of great things. Trump speaks boastfully of making America great again while presenting a completely negative image of, I'm going to read this, Christ. He has deceived the very elect, just as the ancient prophets warned us that he would. Really in Scripture it says, if possible, to deceive the elect. So if you are part of the elect, chances are he hasn't deceived you. In fact, he hasn't deceived me. But let me get a drink and we'll move on. And continuing on, it says, is this the face of a man we can trust? Is that a face to a man you can trust? The art of the deal. The art of the deal is lying to get what you want. Make no mistake. Or is this a deceiver, a con man, a snake oil salesman, a shaman? Do you trust this man? What does your gut tell you? And if you watched any of my videos, you're going to realize they tricked you about this right here too. His real name is Yahusha. So I'm going to put it in there. Would Yahusha have supported this man? How then can Christians who are sworn to do what Yahushua would do? Here is our quick version of the top 10 connections of Donald Trump to the number 666. The connections will be explained in more detail below. There are some truly startling and disturbing facts. The Trumps own the most expensive building ever purchased in the U.S. At 666 Fifth Avenue. Christians, wake up. A street symbolic of money, mammon. Money, the root to all evil, and you guys love this man. You love this rich man. Number 2. The Trumps paid $1.8 billion for the 666 tower. And 18 equals 3 times 6 equals 3 sixes. The 666 Tower is held by Ivanka Trump and her husband Jared Kushner. The Trumps are also in the process of building a $666 million tower at the One Journal Square. According to multiple reports, the height will be 666 feet. You know, I'm almost ashamed to say this, but if you can't see these connections, you deserve hell. You really do, because you are blind. You're going to have to, pain is going to be your teacher. Pain is going to be your teacher. According to multiple reports, the famous Trump Tower is 203 meters tall, and 203 meters equals 666 feet. The Trumps live on the 66th floor. 6 is just the root of 666, and I've showed you in other videos that the 6 is the mark of the beast. It's the Hebrew Vav. In the first year of Trump's presidency, fiscal year 2017, the budget deficit swelled to $666 billion per Fox Business and other sources. Number 6. Donald Trump inherited his grandmother's real estate empire when she died on June 6, 1966, or 666. Her name was Elizabeth Christ Trump. Elizabeth means vow, so her name literally means vow for Christ to be Trump. Donald Trump's name equates to 666 in Jewish gematria, English gematria, and ACC2 computer code. There are details below. Trump's fear-mongering comments about rapists and drug dealers vaulted him to the top of the polls on June 6, 2015, or 6 plus 6 plus 1 plus 5 equals 6, 666. Trump announced his candidacy for president on June 16, 2015, which equals 6 plus 1 times 6 plus 1 plus 5 is 6 equals 666. On the Ides of March, he had 666 delegates. Number 10. The 2016 election was all Trump all the time, and 2016 equals 666 plus 6 plus, 666 plus 6 plus 6 plus 666 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. The Bible warns us to beware of the ruler of this world. Well, the name Donald is a modernized version of the Scottish, remember Scottish, Domhnall, and both names mean world ruler or ruler over all, the judge of all. Y'all is going to let Donald Trump bring hell. When Trump decided to change the name of his Trump Soho Tower, he chose the Dominic, which means the Lord and Master. His first wife, Ivana, called him the Donald, or the ruler of the world. All these names, Don, Donald, Domhnall, and Dominic, have to do with domination. Think of a powerful mafia, Don, but on a global level. Our word Don derives from the Italian dono, Lord, and in Latin dominus, master or domination. The name Trump means to upstage, to outrank, to triumph. See the word Trump and triumph? But it also has connotations of trickery, like the ace of spades. For instance, trumped up charges. Donald Trump's middle name is, this is debatable. Think about John, Judas, Janus, Jeannie, Genius, and Jesus, which means God is gracious. Thus, an interpretation of Trump's full name is a proud world ruler who, after God has been gracious, will attempt to upstage and outrank Christ using trickery. That's why, if you kind of decode Trump's name, that's what you come up with. Thus, Trump's name may be considered a prophecy, one that coincides with many 666 connections and the ancient prophets' warnings about a little horn and the trump of doom. Donald Trump has repeatedly claimed to be perfect. On January 13, 2014, Trump tweeted that he is too perfect and has no faults. On June 25th, 2020, he told Sean Hannity that he is a perfect person and asked the audience to confirm his perfection. This is why Trump admitted that he never asked God for forgiveness. He claims to be perfect when Christians believe only was perfect. Therefore, Trump cannot be a Christian. How can Christians be surprised that Trump's connections to Russia and godless communism are proving to be all too real? According to Jeremy Bash, a former CIA chief of staff and the son of a conservative Jewish family, the Trump administration has produced the most pro-Russian foreign policy coming out of Washington in our history. You're going to learn that Trump is bringing in Russia and China to punish Mystery Babylon, which is America. The Bible warns that Gog and Magog will be the enemies of God and in Israel in the end times. Ezekiel prophesies that after Israel was restored as a nation, which happened in a single day in 1948, which is just a couple years after Trump was born, fulfilling another Bible prophecy, the hordes of Gog and Magog would rise up and attempt to destroy Israel again. Ezekiel prophesies that the sovereign Yah would set his face against the prince of Russia, Meshech, Moscow, and Assyrian and the Greek histories. Meshech appears as Musky or Muskai, all related to Russian capital city of Moscow. Here's a comprised historical explanation. An ancient slave tribe, the Meshera, settled not far from present-day Moscow. Since then, the region has been called Meskera, Sputnik. Think about Sputnik. Of Russia, since Russia recently invaded and conquered Crimea, a peninsula which just out into the Black Sea and is surrounded by water on all sides. This would be a last step toward what Ezekiel predicted thousands of years ago. It seems Tubal, Thobal, Tobal, Tabali, Tabal. See how all these names, the vowels are wild. If you start studying this, you're going to learn that vowels are wild. You trace names back in history, and you're going to see that OMEN, like the word Amen that Christians use at the end of their prayers, is really Amen or Amen, or it's really Amen Ra. Christians has been tricked into invoking the name Amen or Amen Ra. And similar names all refer to the same people that were fair-haired Iberian tribe who crossed the Caucasus Mountains, the first Caucasians, then ended up settling around the Caspian Sea and Black Sea regions, including Crimea. It's ironic that the modern-day name of the peninsula is Crimea, since the Prince of Russia, Meshech, committed a crime where he stole it by force of arms. Here's further evidence. According to Jameson, Foss Brown Bible Commentary, the Scythian Tari and the Crimea were called Roz, the likely root of Russia. Ezekiel speaks of them as dwelling in the uttermost parts of the north. Where does Satan reside? The sides of the north. So it seems this prophecy is describing an immense, very powerful nation far north of Israel, where people had lighter colored hair and were known to be savage warriors, which is how the ancient Greeks described the Tari, Rus, people they encountered. Now, if you take a map and draw a straight line north of Israel, the first land you'll reach past the Black Sea is Crimea. And if you keep going north, you will end up in Moscow. Did the prophet Ezekiel spell everything out for us literally, so that we would have no doubt about the dangers posed by Russia and to Israel? If so, why are so many American Christians supporting Trump when he is so obviously aiding and abetting Russia and admitting it in his tweets? Russia, under the dictatorial leadership of Vladimir Putin, is supporting Syria. Notice this V right here, and that's going to become very important when you're held down. Russia is also aligned with Iran, a nation that has threatened to annihilate Israel. Iran is the Persia of Ezekiel's prophecy, which says Middle Eastern nations like Persia, Libya, and Ethiopia will join the hordes of Gog and Magog in the attack on Israel. I have stumbled on the fact that Trump, one of his names is the Prince of Persia. I made a connection there not too long ago. Russia has also been accused of selling advanced weapons to Hezbollah, a terrorist organization dedicated to the destruction of Israel. Trump enthusiastically supports Putin, which makes him part of the conspiracy against Israel. Meanwhile, on July 20th, 2016, the Putin government enacted draconian laws that prevent Russian Christians from sharing their faith in their homes, online, or anywhere but the government-recognized church buildings. This is a blatant attempt to end not only Christian evangelism and missionary activities, but even family Bible studies and personal testimonies. Yet Trump remains full of constant, effusive, glowing praise for Putin. To be a Christian is to do what Yahusha would do. Would Yahusha abandon Israel, the Crimea, and the Russian Christians to a murderous thug like Putin? How then can American Christians support Trump when he supports Putin? What will happen to Christians who support Trump when Trump openly praises and supports the evil prince of Rosh, Meshach, and Tubal, like Tubal-Cain? The Bible makes the judgment of followers of the Antichrist and the false prophet very clear in Revelation 14:10. They shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yah, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and they will be tormented with fire and brimstone. That's the highest price imaginable to pay for supporting a man who is the antithesis of Yahusha, and thus by definition an antichrist. Getting back to the number 666, on the day Trump allowed the Nunes memo to be published in a blatant attempt to smear the FBI and destroy public confidence in the Bureau's integrity, the stock market dropped 666 points. If there's no accidents with Yah, what is Yah trying to tell us? In January 1998 cover of the adult magazine Genesis, the first book of the Bible, asked Donald Trump the next president, and 1998 equals 666 plus 666 plus 666. Trump's military parade was supposed to cost $12 million according to him, but the Pentagon said it would cost 80 more, an increase of 666% because 80 divided by 12 is 666%. According to the White House insiders, Trump spends hours watching, being influenced by, and tweeting in response to the Fox network. Think about a fox being sneaky. A fox is known for being cunning. The serpent in the garden was the most cunning of all beasts. So when you watch Fox News, you are being tricked through them. They are cunning. They're sneaky in how they do it. They put the right looking people up there and they say the right things to make you think they're on your side. But continuing on. Eerily, the letters in Fox add up to 666 several different ways, and the Bible contains a 666 related verse in which Yahushua called the Antichrist who kept trying to kill him here on earth as a fox. That verse is Luke 13:32, and 13:32 equals 666 plus 666. To see the evidence, please click here. Fox 666 is the false prophet to Donald Trump's jackalish beast. Not to mention that Donald Trump was born on a rare blood moon, and the Bible says that the moon will turn to blood before the great and terrible day of Yah. Also, Trump was born on June 14. It's supposed to be 4/6. I don't know how they got that wrong. Also, Trump was born on June 14, which is a Julian date of 6165 and 3/4. Trump was born during a total lunar eclipse, a very rare event known as a blood moon on June 14th. Yeah, they got it right here. The Bible prophesies that the moon will turn to blood before the great and terrible day of Yah. This great is for us that goes in the great escape. This terrible day is for those who think they don't have to obey Yah's Torah, can eat swine, and they can do sin day worship instead of the true seventh day Sabbath. The eclipse started on 6/14/6 and ended on 6/15/6. Of course, 1 plus 5 equals 6, so the blood moon ended on 6/6/6, and that was Trump's first full day on Earth. Exactly 666 days after Trump was born, the horrific Dur Yassim massacre took place in Israel on April 9th, 1948, making peace possible thereafter. Even if Trump is not the Antichrist, which I have a whole lot more evidence that says he is, but we'll go on, he may be one of the many Antichrists. Children, it is the last hour, and as you have heard, the Antichrist is coming. So now many Antichrist has come. Therefore we know that it is the last hour. I can assure you people, Trump is the Antichrist. Did Christians elect the Antichrist, making him the president of the United States and put him in charge of the world's biggest economy, most powerful military, and nuclear codes? Were the elect deceived, just as the ancient prophets warned that they would be? 4 out of 5 evangelical Christians voted for Trump, according to the exit polls. Trump tricked them all, buddy. He tricked them all. The picture above was taken in North Charleston, South Carolina, where Donald Trump spoke with an apparent relish about the joys. I don't know why this picture's not showing up, but we'll see if we can determine what it is. The picture above was taken in North Charleston, South Carolina, where Donald Trump spoke with apparent relish about the joys of torture and soaking bullets in pig's blood prior to mass executions. Pig blood is often used in satanic rituals. It's because it's unclean, and you Christians are eating it. You're putting it in your body. Remember, the demons went into the pigs, into the swine. One observer said Trump exhibited a giddy, almost childlike enthusiasm for torture and mass executions. If you think the Dark Ages was bad, you Christians should go back and study a little bit about the torture techniques in the Dark Ages, because what's coming to America is going to make that look like child's play. Can you imagine the technology that we have now if they wanted to use that toward torture, what they could do to you? They could keep you alive while they torture you. Back then, severe torture probably led to death. But what if they could keep your brain alive and your senses alive and continually to torture you? There's people out there that enjoy that. These satanic people love torture. It blows my mind that you would even think about eating pork knowing that this could be used against you. But we'll move on. What will happen to Christians who flock after a man who is the exact opposite of Yahushua in every way? Will they be the goats who claim to follow Yahushua, claiming, Lord, Lord, only to hear him say on the last day, the great and terrible day of Yah, I never knew you. Depart from me, you that work. This word here is lawlessness. This word iniquity is lawlessness, aka torlessness. Revelation says Christians who follow the beast will drink of the wine of the wrath of Yah. You people have no idea what Yah is going to allow to happen to the lawless ones. You all think you've all been taught in your Christian indoctrination that he's just fun-loving, forgiving. You can kind of do what you want to, that your Jesus covers all your sins. It's a lie. If you are torlessness, you are going to be given over to the tribe of Dan, and their leader is Trump, and they are going to bring hell upon your flesh. Are Christians risking damnation when they see the word Dan here? D-A-N right there. Dan nation. It'll be Dan's nation, Donald's nation, when they reject Yahushua for supporting Trump. To see how Trump fulfills biblical prophecies, just click the hyperlink. You guys could click this hyperlink. You can pull this website up here and probably find out more information. Trump is putting the X back in Christmas by Xing out refuge children and their mothers. If let's see what all this says here, because we know that us that's awake knows that Christmas is Nimrod's birthday. Meanwhile, this is what the satanic festivals at the White House looked like last year. This word MAGA, you'll see in my last video, is magician. Trump is a magician. Man, these people, I hadn't read all this, but they have they studied Trump like I have. What does MAGA mean? Really, a MAGA or Magus is a follower of the sun god. Lucifer is a sun god called the morning star. Thus, a Magus is a magician, a sorcerer, and astrologer. MAGA is the plural of MAGA, and we all know the story of the three Magi who followed and interpreted the stars. But Lucifer's false star would lead followers to their doom. Is the mark of the beast a red cat that identifies its wearers as followers of Trump? The red hat, people, is symbolic to a red sash. It's dipped in blood. Simon Magus was an occult enemy of the early Christianity who loved money and power. The sin of simony, selling out the church and its principles for profit. This is what all your famous pastors did. Billy Graham, Joel Stone, all these guys are multi-millionaires, man. They took money from the poor and built themselves mansions. Is named after Simon Magus, but how many Christians are supporting Trump, who also loves money and power? How can a man who gold plates his toilet be a Christian? when the Bible clearly says that a man cannot serve Yah and money? At a rally in Iowa in 2016, Donald Trump said, "I like money. I'm very greedy. I'm a greedy person. I shouldn't tell you that. I've always been greedy. I love money," right? Well, he fit right in with the masses. All the masses love money. And let's not forget the theme song to The Apprentice was "For the Love of Money." For the love of money is the root to all kinds of evil, with Almighty Yah replaced by the almighty dollar. That's who he worships, people, and that's who you worship. You just don't know it. Trump's real allegiance is to Mammon, and thus, according to the Bible, he must hate Yah, and indeed seems to despise every teaching of Yahusha, and always does exactly the opposite of what Yahusha would do. Donald Jesus Trump has many connections to the number 666, the biblical mark of the beast and the Antichrist. You Christians love this man. He is your hero, your Messiah. The picture above is 666 Fifth Avenue, a street symbolic of money, mammon, materialism, hubris, and power. The most expensive single building in the U.S. was purchased by Trump and his family through Ivanka Trump and her husband Jared Kushner. Furthermore, the Trump's other New York City properties form a pentagram around the 666 centerpiece. Oh, and the Trump family paid $1.8 billion for the building, and that's 3 more sixes. 18 equals 6 plus 6 plus 6. As reported by reputable news services like the Wall Street Journal, Fortune, and USA Today, in the first year of the Trump's presidency, fiscal year 2017, the budget deficit swelled. I think we've already read that. Trump inherited his grandmother's. Yes. Donald Trump called himself the Brexit candidate, and Don Brexit in American gematria is 666. The Trump coat of arms on the right contains 3 snake-like numbers, 6 symbols in the mirrored images on the left and right. The tails of the 3 lines in the center shield from a third snake-like 666. There are more snake-like 6s in the branches and the leaves. The Trump coat of arms was quite obviously copied from the Davies family coat of arms on the left. The word integrity was replaced by Trump, deceit, and the gaudy golden 6s were added. Joseph Edward Davies was the third husband of Marjorie Merriweather Post, the socialite who built the Mar-a-Lago resort. The Davies family was considered suing Trump over the stolen coat of arms, according to the BBC and New York Times articles. This is an upside down valve. So really this is a 6 and 6 right here. It's just upside down. This is Trump showing you that he's the tip of the spear. He's the white horse rider in the book of Revelations, and you can see him busting through. This is the Hebrew Dalet and the Hebrew Vav down here, but he's busting through the door. It's Antichrist coming up out of the pit. You can a lot of times turn these images upside down and see more connection. Donald Trump's real name in German is Donald Johann Drumpf, and each name has 6 letters. 666. I hadn't put this connection. I knew he'd changed his father had changed his last name from Drump to Trump, but I hadn't noticed that each one of these had 666. So interesting find. Donald Trump announced his candidacy for president on June 16, 2015. Get 666 on the Ides of March. He had 66. I think we'd read that. Roman Republic became Roman Empire rule and succession dictators on October 20th, 2016. The 5038 website had Trump with a 66.6% chance of winning the election in Utah, the citadel of Mormonism. The number 666 denotes arrogance, pride, egotism, love of money and power, materialism, all things Donald Trump brags about as if they were virtues. There was a total lunar eclipse on the day Donald Trump was born. Yes. Blood moon. Yes. I think I'm going to kind of stop there. I think I've given you enough information. This is Trump Tower right here. You can see the upside down pyramid here, or the Hebrew Vav. You got 6 trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 6, 6. Now up here, indentions, you've got, we'll count the black lines here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I've given you guys enough information to where you can take this on further. I've been studying him for years and years. This image here you've seen, but this is the symbol on Trump's building. He's a wizard. He's a magician. Well, these people here's done some. I'm going to have to go back and read. Yes, I know his father was KKK. He was arrested at a KKK rally. Yeah, he's a pedophile, people. Make no mistake about it. He's a pedophile. He acts like he's bringing down the pedophiles when he is the main pedophile. And you'll learn that about him. I have videos on my YouTube channel. I will quickly show you. Oh, I was going to show you. Let's see if we got. You guys can go to YouTube.
Just 12 swings, really? Yes, increase your distance, improve your accuracy, and lower your scores in just 12 swings with this. It's called lag shot.
Watch that movie, you'll start seeing now that I've showed you some connections.
In 1976, the birth of evil was foretold in the OMEN. In 1978, a terrifying
that movie scared me back in
Damien.
But you guys can watch the trailer on that, the OMEN collection. You can watch those, but the movie was about Donald Trump, people. The Antichrist walks among us right now. He's the white horse rider in Revelation, and the red horse is getting ready to ride. I believe it's going to be China and Russia. They're going to invade us. The reason Trump built the wall, you thought it was to keep people out, but it was to keep you in. When Russia and China invade our country, you're going to have nowhere to run. Think about the movie World War Z. Think about the wall in that movie. Go back and watch that clip again, because that's going to be you. Your only protection, people, is Yah, and if you obey His Torah with your heart, not just obey it, but you need to quit eating swine, quit doing Sunday worship, quit celebrating Christmas, Easter, all these pagan holidays. Quit these things first, and beg Yah to have mercy on you. And ask Him to allow you to escape the wrath that's coming, because this is His wrath. He's allowing this to happen. He's going to allow China and Russia to come in and destroy Mystery Babylon, which, if you live in the United States will be the first one taken down. You take down the head of the snake, and then he'll take over the rest of the world. But America has to fall first, as it is the head of the snake. But this is my YouTube channel. You can go to YouTube and search YAH, which is Yah. You become enlightened once knowledge is shared with you, and then Yah backwards. So this is YAHUHAY. And if you'll search on YouTube, you can find it there. Or when you watch one of the videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button and click on the little bell icon, and you'll be notified as I upload new videos. And as always, I hope you share. I hope you hit the like button. If not, at least hit the dislike button. But either way, enjoy reading your guys' comments, as a lot of you have knowledge to share that can add to what my knowledge is. But thank you guys for taking the time. If you stayed through this video all the way to the end, I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, send them to me. And Shalom, may Yah barak you, which means bless you. And I hope that that you ask him to escape his wrath, because his wrath is going to be bloody. It says in there that the blood is going to be up to the horse's bridle. It's going to be says there's never been times as bad as this, and there never will be again. So you think about all the horrific times in times past in our history, and then none of them will compare to what is coming here very, very soon. Shalom, shalom. May Yah baruch you and your family.